All right, man, peace. So as I'm sure many of you brothers know by now, Floyd Mayweather, the retired former superstar welterweight champion of the boxing world, decided that he was going to try to take on his toughest opponent last week, that being the quote-unquote pro-black mafia, as I call them, the conglomerate of internet revolutionaries who say a lot but do very little. And this time they happen to be led by Mr. T.I., a.k.a. Tip Harris. And as I always say, I'm forced to wonder who it is that he's giving his tips to. Because whenever I see somebody named Tip, I think of an informant. Especially when it comes to someone who supposedly has all these felonies, but he's never getting any major prison time. Isn't that interesting? Well, he was put on the forefront, or I should say he put himself on the forefront of an alleged pro-blackity-black boycott. And interestingly enough, Floyd Mayweather's on again, off again, off again, on again, never again, former best friend, quote-unquote best friend, 50 Cent, decided to jump into the fray on the side of T.I. Why is that? Because as I tell you brothers oftentimes, or incessantly on this channel, wokeism is a way for has-beens to stay relevant. It's all an act. Whether it's 50 Cent, T.I., Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith, if it gets them on camera, if it gets them likes on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or wherever niggas are looking for likes at, that's what they're going to do. Because they're hoping that quote-unquote likes will lead to album sales or song downloads or movie tickets bought, anything to stay relevant. They don't really know enough to even understand how to begin solving the issues, and most of them have been compromised. And as I've stated in other videos, Floyd Mayweather himself clearly to me is a Luciferian. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I could tell by many of the totems that he wears and many of the hand signals or hand signs that he uses. It is what it is. But what Floyd Mayweather does have, that these other characters in the entertainment industry don't have, is a ruling class mentality. And that's why the mainstream liberal sports media and the mainstream media in general, which is mostly Marxist, will never, ever, ever give Floyd Mayweather platitudes or compliments or what have you, because he's not bought and paid for by the corporations. And people have a very difficult time understanding this. Most of this is smoke and mirrors. The reason why Colin Kaepernick or LeBron James or Serena Williams get feted on television is because they're bought and paid for by Nike. We're living in a corporatocracy. Floyd Mayweather is not a part of that corporatocracy. I'm just stating the facts. That's the reason why they don't like him, because they're not getting a cut from his profits. It's all about how much money can I make from you. And that's why he's not covered with the same level of benevolence as many of these other characters. But just to get to the point, Floyd Mayweather had a little dust up with T.I. over this Gucci bullshit. And he and his team decided that they were going to craft a very intelligently worded essay on Instagram pertaining to the reason why Floyd Mayweather is not siding with the so-called boycott, as he shouldn't, because it makes no sense whatsoever. It's short-sighted as usual. The pro-blackity blacks are short-sighted because they're emotionally driven. They have no understanding on how the world works because they don't have a ruling class mentality. They have a slave mind. So let's see what Floyd and his team put together here on Instagram. It says, in light of the most current boycott and digital outrage, I wanted to take the time to address a couple of issues that I myself have trouble wrapping my mind around. I don't think that you have any trouble wrapping your mind around this, brother. I think that you just don't have time for the bullshit. Our people have become like teenagers. Whenever you disagree with them, they call you a coon and this and a that. And they're never able to substantiate it. It's not even the name calling that I mind. I really don't care. When I read certain comments where certain quote-unquote inflammatory jibes or insults are levied at particular people in the entertainment industry or other people in the comment section, everybody's a coon and a sellout or this and that, at least be able to substantiate it. Because who knows, the terms that you're using might be applicable. But if you cannot substantiate it, all it tells me is that you're someone who has an agenda and you're frustrated that other people are not riding alongside of your agenda. So I think that Floyd can wrap his mind around why. It's just that he don't want to be bothered with a lot of these clowns. Because you have a lot of clowns just in general in life, but particularly on the internet. So Floyd says, for instance, why would we as a people agree to a temporary boycott of Gucci for merely 3 months if what was done caused so much strife. You know why that is, Floyd Mayweather? I could tell you why. The reason why the reason why T.I. is trying to lead a 3-month boycott of Gucci is because he's hoping that over the next 3 months, Gucci will reach out to him with some sort of business deal to appease him in some way, maybe with a sponsorship, maybe with hundreds of thousands of dollars in free clothes. Maybe T.I. is hoping that Gucci will ask him to act as a liaison between them and the so-called black community, especially in Atlanta. But as I've been saying for the longest time, I have no idea why so-called black people would want to boycott a brand that they never should have been wearing in the first place. You should never have been wearing Gucci in the first place to quote-unquote boycott them. Gucci is above and beyond the pay scale of 99% of people in the so-called black community in the first place. So how much are you going to hurt them? That's a brand that makes over $7 billion per year. How much of that do you think comes from the so-called black community here in America? I would say that the amount is infinitesimal. The reason why you're seeing the proliferation, and I'm going to delve into this probably in another video, but the reason why you're seeing the proliferation of many of these so-called high-end brands making sure that they create clothing designs that are allusions to slavery or the oppression of quote-unquote black people is because they want you to get upset. They're trying to tell you they don't want you to wear their clothes. They don't like you. They don't care about how you feel about that. Because you represent such a small amount of revenue when they do their market analysis. You represent such a small amount of revenue that when they see you on television wearing their clothes, it's almost like, nigga, take off our clothes because we don't want our clothing line to be associated with you. That's why they're doing that. Floyd Mayweather is approaching being a billionaire. So his attitude and the attitude of all billionaires is that I want it, I will have it. The mindset of the average so-called black person in America is supposed to be, how can I get out of this situation that I'm in? You should not even be concerned about Gucci. Okay? Gucci has to make a good show of it. So if they need to, they'll fly one of their representatives over here and try to act like they're going to placate the so-called black community. But at the end of the day, the vast majority of people of color in this captivity in America or in the Americas or what have you, if you see them wearing Gucci, it's probably a knockoff. And the people who can afford it are probably making so much money that they fit into the demographic where they don't mind because they're a celebrity anyway. But even many of these celebrities, they don't want to see in their clothes. But people on the level of a Jay-Z, a Floyd Mayweather, a LeBron James, they don't mind that per se. They're going to wear what they want to wear. But they're telling the average so-called black person, you never should have been wearing our clothes anyway. You never should have been wearing them anyway. Let's see here. So Floyd is saying, why wouldn't we agree to a permanent boycott of Gucci as well as all other merchandise that fall under the Kering ownership, such as Yves Saint Laurent, Balenciaga, Alexander McQueen, and more? I'll tell you why. It's because in this day, celebrities and failing artists pick and choose the hottest trending topic as a means of seeking attention and using fake advocacy as their platform when their talent no longer benefits them. I agree, Floyd Mayweather, because they have to conduct themselves as if they're one with the people. Because right now in the social media age, when your record sales fall off, you have to grasp onto whatever's hot. What's hot now, once again, it's wokeism. I have to say this over and over and over again for many brothers because they don't get it. When you see these people come on TV and they talk about pro-black this and pro-blackity black that, that's why you see LeBron James. Every time the media comes at him or the other general managers in the NBA talk about clutch sports, he says that it's a black issue. It's because I'm black and it's this and it's that. Because he knows that he's going to get a good response from that on the internet. So that sets up a net of protection for him. And also, like I said about T.I., the reason why T.I. is trying to organize a 3-month boycott is because he's giving Gucci 3 months to send him a fat check. That's what he's saying. Gucci, I'm going to give you 3 months to send me a fat check and a sponsorship deal. And then after that, not only will I call off the dogs, but I'll start to market Gucci on the internet for you by wearing your clothes. That's all that's about. So Floyd says it's common knowledge that these luxury brands aren't being purchased on a large scale by the black communities that you portray you're advocating for. Yet you use the emotions of our people. Well, if you want to manipulate so-called blacks, you're always going to go for their emotions because our people are emotional. That's why we're at where we're at. We're at the bottom. Because for the most part, our people move according to their emotions. They go according to the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes. Right? That's another reason why pro-blackity blacks are giving Gucci a 3-month boycott. Because they want that hug. They want the lead owner or the lead patron of Gucci to come over from Italy and give everybody a big hug and say, black people, we love you. Because our people have very low self-esteem. So let's see here. It says, yet you use the emotions of our people that are already suffering with countless issues within their own home front that you conveniently pay no regard or respect to. You know why Floyd Mayweather or whoever helped him craft this essay, you know why that is? Because in order for you to address the issues that are going on in the so-called black community, you have to start to talk about the mother goddess, that being the so-called black woman. And you can't talk about the so-called black woman because then it gets into the blame game and the circular gender war. And the so-called black man will always lose that because the so-called black woman has the white man and the white woman behind her. She has the court system behind her. She has the police force behind her. Okay? Simple as that. She has the job market behind her. So women, period, not just the black woman, they're two-dimensional. They deal with exactly what's directly in front of them. They don't deal with what's going on around them. They don't care. So when you have a person like Floyd Mayweather who somehow creeped through the cracks and was able to transcend a lot of the pitfalls and the stumbling blocks, and he does not have to partition his money and give it away to big name brands and corporations that are going to make him look good in commercials and so on and so forth. He's always going to look like the bad guy. He's going to look callous, so on and so forth. But it always amazes me when I see some of these comments, especially from many of these pro-blackity blacks. They'll talk about how Floyd Mayweather, he doesn't do anything for the so-called black community. What do you expect him to do for you? What exactly would you like him to do for you? Wake you up at 5 o'clock in the morning and show you how to work hard? Would you like him to stage an intervention in your house and pull that video game controller out of your hand and pull the blunt out of your mouth? Is that what you want from him? Is he supposed to make you feel like a winner? Whether you're a winner or a loser is going to come from the inside. Whoever you are on the inside is going to come out and manifest itself eventually. So Floyd Mayweather can't help you. What they really want, what so-called black people love, are gestures. They love to see prominent or quote-unquote entertainment Negroes get on TV with that big oversized check and say, I'm going to present this money to the Boys and Girls Club or to the black community or, to the projects or whatever. And that's not going to solve the problems because, you're just trying to put your fingers in a dam. The whole dam needs to be rebuilt from the foundation upward. And in order for that to happen, many of these people got to go. All right? A lot of people don't like that, but it's just the truth. Many of our people, they have to go because they have a reprobate mind. Simple as that. But anyway, let's see what else he has to say here. The same celebrities stirring the pot over brands that they without doubt will continually buy are the same artists that inject rap lyrics filled with drugs, murder, and sexual promiscuity into the very black communities you're pretending to care so much about. Yeah, isn't that so funny? It made me laugh when 50 Cent came out and claimed that he agreed with T.I. 50 Cent said, I'm a black man first. Well, were you a black man first when you were selling drugs to your own people? At least according to your rap lyrics, that's what you were doing. When you tried to celebrate getting shot 9 times, allegedly, and talked about who you stabbed and who you robbed and who you shot. As a matter of fact, isn't that how 50 Cent came to fame in the first place? When he made a song called How to Rob, where he spoke about robbing all the top rappers in the hip hop industry. That's what he did way back like in 1998, 98, 99, somewhere around there. Because I remember all the All the top dudes at the time responded back to him. Big Pun, Jay-Z, DMX, all of them. But, you know, it didn't take this situation for me to know that 50 Cent is filled with grade A cow manure. So let's see what else is going on here. These same celebrities are proud deadbeat fathers. He's talking about 50 Cent. And unfaithful husbands. He's talking about T.I. Using their platforms to rally the troops against luxury brands, yet have been the prime contributors of influencing the destruction of our people by way of their musical content and imagery. Yeah, wasn't it T.I. who called himself the Rubber Band Man? T.I. with his dumb ass. And he's another Hollywood pansexual, allegedly. But so is 50 Cent. That's how they get in those movies. When you see these rappers, whether it's Snoop Dogg or Common or T.I., 50 Cent, and all these movies, they're telling you a few things. Number one, they're telling you that acting is not as difficult as they make it out to be, or as they make it out to look. That's why over the years, you've always seen that transition with top rappers, quote-unquote rappers, into the acting world. Because many of these rappers are actors, period. They're acting like they're thugs. They're acting like they're drug dealers. They're acting like they're playboys. And in real life, they're none of those things. None of those things. Going back to LL Cool J and Will Smith, Tupac, those characters were all allowed to partake in or indulge in the transition from the music world to the acting world. Why is that? There are many reasons for that. Number one, they're all Luciferians. Number two, they understand what acting is about. Acting is about make-believe. When you pick up that microphone and you get in the booth, you get to be somebody else. You get to be somebody else. And I'm not saying that all rappers are actors. No, there actually are some rappers who are about what they talk about in their lyrics, in their rhymes. But most of them are actors. They create a cult of personality around themselves. And then they get stuck in that character. And they have to be that character for the rest of their lives. And in order to deal with that fake persona, they end up becoming drug addicts. I mean, I can't even remember the last hit that T.I. had. I think it's What You Know About That. I don't know a hit that the man had after that. On camera talking about, Gucci, we got a problem. We got a problem because we can't have Gucci disrespecting black folk like this. Man, please, go sit your ass down. Nigga, what do you know about that? Get the hell out of here with that nonsense. Let's see what else Floyd and his team are talking about here. These same celebrities are proud deadbeat fathers and unfaithful husbands, using their platforms to rally the troops against luxury brands, yet have been the prime contributors of influencing the destruction of our people by way of their musical content and imagery. Should we boycott their music and record labels as well? Or do we learn to communicate and bring solutions to the problems we're facing as a whole? Well, brother, in order for our people to become solution-oriented thinkers, the man has to take over as being the leader. And in order for the man to take over being the leader, and this is something that Floyd understands already, I could tell by many comments that he's made in the past. I remember seeing an interview where he stated that he likes the Muslim culture because they know that a man can have more than one woman. But what was Floyd really saying when he said that? What he was saying is that he knows that the man should be the head. And when you're the head, you have a lot of responsibilities as the head. You cannot be the head in a tyrannical way. You have to be the head of your household or your corporation or whatever, your life, with responsibility and prudence and discernment, so on and so forth, to the best of your ability. But in order for our people to go back to being solution-oriented thinkers, number one, as a whole, the man has to become the head again. And number two, we have to stop allowing idiotic simp dudes with female energy or low-level thinking cats to be the leaders. I've said this in the past. Idiots have taken over as being the heads or the rulers of the so-called black community. They're the ones who get on television or who get on camera for social media to try to tell so-called black people what to do and how to think. Now, our cognoscenti now is filled with dudes with jailhouse wisdom. And it's no disrespect. You know, cats get locked up They go through their experiences. Hopefully they become better people. And, you try to re-implement them back into society. But a lot of these cats are the dudes that that want to become the leaders now. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but cats have to get vetted, man. People have to be vetted. Everywhere you turn now, it's some hip-hop dude trying to act as if he's going to be the new Malcolm X. Whether it's Killer Mike or T.I. or somebody. It's like wokeism has given these characters a new lease on life. It's elongated their careers. Anyway, let's see. Let me not forget David Banner. And they have to create these images, whether it's the big white beard or, they start wearing glasses for no reason. And it's like, bro, them glasses ain't going to make you no smarter. But like Floyd states, he says, should we boycott their music and record labels as well? Or do we learn to communicate and bring solutions to the problems we're facing as a whole? In order for communication to be effective, both parties have to be seeking out the same solution. I'll say that again, especially for you younger brothers. And this is pertaining to relationships. If you're in a relationship with a woman, if you don't both have the same idea of what the solution for the problem is supposed to be, communication is a waste of time. Okay? A lot of cats say the communication isn't good. It's not that the communication is not good, it's that you and your woman don't have a similar mindset and she has very little respect for the masculine principle. Maybe it's because you're not conducting yourself with a level of self-respect. Who knows? But at the end of the day, bad communication is really more symptomatic of a deeper issue. So the reason why so-called blacks have poor communication with the other races is because the other races don't see the same solution that black people claim that they want. Our people want to have this long, drawn-out conversation on race where at the end we hug it out and the other races agree that we're equal to them. Equality does not come from agreement. Equality comes from understanding of accomplishments and accrual of power. That's all. If our people want to be respected, we have to improve our power base. We don't have the appropriate power base. The reason why we don't have the appropriate power base, which is economically based, is because we don't have a strong culture. We don't have a strong culture because the so-called black man does not put the Most High first. He puts the Caucasian first and he puts his woman first. Right? And we're taught that through music and songs and the black matriarchy that so many so-called black men are raised in. And it sets him back in a big way. A lot of cats don't understand what's going on until they're 35, 40 years old. Floyd says, as a retired, wealthy, and successful man that has promoted a drug and alcohol-free lifestyle, well, let me chastise Floyd a bit there. For the most part in his career, he's promoted an alcohol and drug-free lifestyle. Until one of those episodes on Showtime of, not 24/7. What's the name of the show that was on Showtime? It wasn't 24/7. One of you brothers can correct me in the comment section. In one of those episodes, he was promoting weed smoking amongst his little harem of chicks there. And it was very unfortunate. Because I thought to myself as I was watching it, Floyd is trying to dig for ratings here. I really thought that Floyd kind of went off kilter when he went to Showtime. I thought that he was too concerned about people looking at his lifestyle out of boxing. And the reason why people like to watch 24/7 is because they wanted to see the blood, sweat, and tears in training. That's what galvanized and provided an impetus for so many younger black men who watch how hard he worked. And he wanted to go to Showtime, and all of a sudden it was about the lifestyle and people seeing the bling. And I have no problem with the bling, but also show the hard work. There has to be a balance there. I don't mind showing the women, because the women are just another version of jewelry. They're booty. That's why in the age of piracy, they call the gold that they stole booty. Because that's all a woman is to a rich man. A woman is just another gold necklace or diamond necklace. That's all that is, because she's not there for love. She's there to show off. And as recompense for being shown off, she gets some of the booty. She gets some of the reward. And that's it. But he did promote weed smoking on one of those episodes. I think that it was in the build-up for the Maidana fight. But in one of those fights, at least in the buildup of the fight, he was promoting weed smoking because his chicks like to smoke that shit. And I thought that was not good. So let's see here. He says, as a retired, wealthy, and unsuccessful man that has promoted a drug and alcohol-free lifestyle, yes, I am a connoisseur of fine quality and top-of-the-line brands. However, unlike many of these new money celebs, I never forgot where I came from. Decades before Dapper Dan became a designer for Gucci, I supported his work and creativity consistently and never stopped. Not many of you can say that. Most of you took your money into the same high-end boutiques and didn't think twice about leaving our brother and legendary designer behind until Gucci put their stamp back on him, and that's where your hypocritical outrage should be. Well, look, we all know that the pro-blackity blacks, the wokety wokes, they're the biggest bunch of hypocrites on the planet Earth. They have no plan. All they want to do is get outraged by what white people do. I've said this many times. The outrage is never there when it comes to their cousin selling crack or selling drugs to their own people. It's never there when it comes to the gangbanging that goes on in their own communities. They'll claim that it is. But you don't see our people putting forth their best effort to talk about how we're going to boycott these gangs. We want them out. And if we know that you're gangbanging and trying to recruit younger brothers to join your gangs, if we see that you're trying to bring our daughters into your roster of hoes, you're going to be destroyed by any means necessary. You never hear our people take a strong stance like that. But they'll say, because we saw Floyd Mayweather wearing Gucci, we're not going to support him and we're not going to support anything that he does. Dude, Floyd Mayweather been retired. He's been retired for 4 years. He don't need your money. Or like when you see these people on the internet. Oh, well, you know, Floyd, when you get in trouble with the white man, you know, we're not going to be there to support you. Name me the last nigga who had to go on trial who was found innocent because there were so-called black people on the internet, quote-unquote, supporting him. What it really is about envy. And, you know, I say this all the time. Envy is the one emotion that people will never, ever admit to. But it's the most dangerous emotion to be the recipient of. Because you never know what an envious person is going to do. They will do anything. You have people who've been lynched because a mob was led on by an envious person who tried to justify their envy with fake validation. Oh, he did this. He said that. We got to get him. It's the same thing with Mayweather. They're trying to internet lynch him. I mean, there are things certainly to criticize and castigate the brother for, but this nonsense is frivolous. But I expect that from wokety wokes. So let's see what else they have to say here. Bottom line, if you know better, do better. I agree. Start with your own homes and the content that you mass produce and sell to your very own. Take a look at how you're representing your people first before asking someone else to do so. Well, brother, they're not going to do that. All right? They're not going to do that because our people are not particularly good with accountability. They don't really like to be held responsible for their own thoughts and their misdeeds. They prefer to point the finger at others. And that's part of the conundrum that we're in. That's why, once again, a lot of our people have to go. Because it is a virus. But just getting back to the overall point, I agree with Mayweather here pertaining to the so-called Gucci boycott. It will be another fad that comes and goes. And you will see our people wearing Gucci again. But once again, why is it that you're seeing the proliferation of so many of these quote-unquote high-end brands creating products that seem to be an allusion to slavery or Jim Crow or the so-called oppression of so-called black people? It's because they don't want you wearing their clothes in the first place. You're not their target market. They don't want you wearing their clothes in the first place. So the notion of a boycott of a clothing line that you never should have been wearing in the first place is ludicrous. But anyway, peace.